Shalom and welcome to Tel Aviv University's newest initiative, a series of podcasts with our leading friends and supporters. Shalom everyone and welcome to our podcast session. Today we have with us a very special guest, Dafna Meitar-Nechmad. Shalom Dafna, welcome.
Hi Amos.
Hi. So I'm going to read something and then we're going to talk freely. So Dafna is the chairwoman of a Tau Board of Governors. She's a leading Israeli philanthropist, a Tau alumnus, and a former corporate lawyer. Dafna devoted her time to non-profit sector, particularly to advancing Israeli philanthropy and women causes. Dafna has served as a chairperson of Israeli Opera France, associated board member of the Jewish Funders Network, and at Tau she established the Institute of Law and Philanthropy along with her family, the Zvi Meitar Center for Advanced Studies. She's married to Amir and a mother of three wonderful young women, Keren, Rona, and Dana. So again, welcome Dafna. We're very happy and privileged to have you with us here.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So maybe start with letting people know about yourself. I mean, I know you very well. You've been with us for many years, but maybe a little about where you grew up and about the family, where you came from, and then we can continue.
Yeah. So I'm an Israeli. I was born in Tel Aviv and grew up in a small place called Kiryat Ono. Which gave me a wonderful childhood of normal Israeli kid with a loving family, a lot of music, and a group of friends that went along with me. Like we were like a small kibbutz in a way. Nothing hinted of any philanthropy. I didn't know philanthropy. I didn't know any. I was raised in a family of lawyers, and from young age, I just knew that I'm going to be a lawyer. Nobody asked me if I want to be a lawyer, but it was just part of being a part of the family. And of course, with the army service and so on, and I. Immediately after my service, I went to Tel Aviv University, where I met my husband, Amir, married to him for 41 years. I'm very proud of this achievement. And along the years, we worked together at a law firm that my father established many, many, many years ago and grew enormously together with the high-tech sector in Israel, and their success became our success. And one day, about 20 years ago, my father asked me to join him to start a family fund. We called it a fund, not foundation, because it's not a formal foundation, but we started everything about philanthropy, giving, to all kinds of causes. And our first main cause was the Israeli opera. You wanted to stop here?
No, it's great. I didn't know the first cause was opera. I thought the first cause was the law faculty, but...
No,
the opera.
It was the Israeli opera. At the time, the Israeli opera has some issues that were published in the papers. So we found ourselves at the office of Ron Huldai, our mayor, for many years. And we told him about our wish to start some kind of philanthropy, something organized, because fortunately all my life I saw my parents, my grandparents giving more charity than philanthropy, nothing organized or strategic. But it was always there at the background. So at the mayor's office, we had a discussion about the Israeli opera, because he is the chair of the opera, and the opera is a part of the culture in Tel Aviv. And he told us about opera in the park, that they are going to raise Nabucco in 2 months. And they miss the last piece of the puzzle to finance this event free for the public. We looked at each other and immediately we knew it's our thing. And we told him we will finish the the missing piece. And this was a great, great beginning of a long journey I had with the Israeli opera. Then being chair of the Friends Association, learned a lot about what it means to manage a non-profit organization. I became part of it.
Your world is revolving a lot about culture and art, and you're teaching me a lot about art and painters around the world, and we talk a lot about. Yes. But you're very international in that front. I know your father was involved in many of cultural, international, very big scenes in London and New York, but you're as well. So maybe you can share a little bit about that.
Yes. My parents moved to London in 2001 and spent over a decade there. And through them, we enjoyed every cultural field possible: ballet, opera, dance, music, and they became involved with several organizations there. Royal Albert Hall and so. And through them, he made a connection with the Metropolitan Opera in New York. At the time, and still today, my husband has some real estate business in New York, and we found ourselves visiting more often. And it just was a natural continuation of my involvement with the Israeli opera that I became involved with the Metropolitan Opera, and later on I joined their board of directors. And again, higher education of philanthropy. This is one of the best institutions in the world, and how lay leaders and how donors run this institute and are proud to be part of it, and still identify themselves with it. I learned a lot, and many of it I'm trying to implement here in Israel in the organizations I'm involved in. Later in my life, after being a lawyer for 20 years, since I enjoyed myself so much at the philanthropy field, I decided to stop practicing, and ever since I devoted fully to...
Your father passed away a few years ago, already many years ago actually, and he was a very strong figure. Unfortunately, I had a chance to meet him. I hear the stories about him being a very tough negotiator, but he established something amazing here in the university, the Zvi Meitar Center, and you and your brother decided to continue his legacy, and thank you very much for that. But that's a very strong symbol of success, of academic success. I think the university is really proud of this. I know you are too. I know that you and then you went to different directions as well. I remember when we met and we talked about the next campaign of the university. And you agreed to be the chairwoman of the first campaign ever in Tel Aviv University.
Maybe I didn't understand what I'm getting into when you approached me, but of course I enjoy myself a lot.
Yeah, that was the first one, and maybe share about a little bit about the scene of the philanthropy in Israel, because I cannot say it's a new scene because your father did already from many years ago and others, but it's evolving. And you're really leading in this, in many aspects. You're in touch, you're involved internationally and locally. Maybe just share with the audience, about that.
So philanthropy, like maybe any field that someone starts to be involved, you start with at one point and you think you know something, and then during your journey you learn and evolve, you meet other people, you get influenced. When we started, we didn't try to change. We didn't see ourselves as part of any field or any scene here. We just wanted to give back to the society that we grew up in. But then I met other people, and I realized that I'm very interested in the infrastructure, in cultivating philanthropy among Israelis in general, because there is a gap between the number of people who can give and the actual people who donate and see themselves obligated to donate money. It's a whole issue that we can devote a full podcast on this issue, but this is why, because of our success at the opera and because of our success at the Zvi Meitar Center for Advanced Legal Studies at the law faculty here, that I wanted more. I wanted to try to see how I impact other people and I convince other people to give. And as a result, together with a few very good friends of mine, all of them women, I must say, mainly Edna Fast, Irit Rappaport, Marsha Riklis, we started the Institute for Law and Philanthropy at the Law Faculty of Tel Aviv.
First ever in Israel. There was never something like that in Israel. And very unique also in the world, I think.
I'm very proud of it. I think that every dollar I donated to this institute brought a lot of money to philanthropy in Israel. In a very short period, it became a major player in the field of philanthropy. We have researchers doing work. We're gathering information. We realized that this field did not get the attention it should. And we attracted really very good people to work there. It is managed by Galia Fait and Professor Guy Mundlik is now the head of the institute after his predecessor, Professor Yoram Margaliot, who started it, and then Professor Neta Ziv, who is now the VP of Tel Aviv University. So I'm very proud that with the great people, and it's a small institute, but it has become not only a player, but also an infrastructure to meetings and negotiations and discussions and ideas with the government, with the civil society in Israel, and much more.
Thank you. I think that's really an amazing achievement. And I want to address an issue that I think is important for you. You're the first woman that is acting as the chairwoman of the Board of Governors. It's even surprising that we're mentioning it, but you are the first one. But we'll talk about the board later, about the Board of Governors. But first, I know that this is a topic that you chose to lead, and you're a leader. Especially advancing women in academia, in life, in professions. So why did you choose this topic, which is important?
So another topic we can talk full time, but feminism. Many women are reluctant to describe themselves as a feminist, and I think it's very, very important. And I'm not shy in it. This is why I insist of calling it chairwoman of the board, that people will know it's not a chairperson, because most men do not call themselves chairperson. But this is technically. What I think is the substance, what you put in it. And always, any role we are talking about, it's all about the person, the man or the woman who is in this role and what they are doing with it. And I think that luckily I was fortunate to be raised in a family that never limited me. I got the support as much as my brother did. And I never felt that I should limit my dreams and my ambitions. But during COVID times, I realized that women got hit much harder in every possible way from the disease, and I thought to myself, maybe I can use this time, the free time that we all got, part of this horrible time, to investigate a little bit about women's rights and about the gap between men and women in Israel and elsewhere. And I started swimming in this enormous ocean. And unfortunately, what I learned was not that situation, that maybe in some part of the world, in some cities, in some profession, women are advanced and are achieved a lot of achievements, but in general, there is still inequality, and the inequality unfortunately exists everywhere, in the non-profits in Israel, in the non-profits in America, in every, and unfortunately even in the university. I know that things are improving. I know that we now have more female deans. We have 2 out of 4 female VPs. But if you look at the broader picture in all the academy institutions in Israel, most of the president, the rector, and the general director are men. And I feel obligated to do as much as I can to raise this subject. We just had, 2 months ago, we had a special conference about philanthropy and women. What does it mean? Gender lens on your philanthropy. How do you ask the right questions? How do you invest in the right places? Again, a whole subject to discuss further.
And you're right. I know that President Porat is pushing this topic very hardly, in appointing Neta and of course Milet and the rest of the amazing deans that we have. And I do think that it's important for us. It's one of our missions to break the glass ceiling, like they say, mainly in STEM. That we know it's harder for postdocs and after they go back and from abroad. And this is something we're really trying here to make an emphasis. And thank you for being a beacon on that front, because it's still important. Wanted to discuss with you a little bit about the board of governors or the chair. The institute is already is here for many years, but you're coming with a new, and your spirit is to say, okay, let's make a difference. Let's put in something valuable into this board of governors. How do you see, first of all, why did you take this position? You did many things, you're doing many things. So why did you take this position? Then how do you see this, your role in it?
So we are in Tel Aviv University, and this is a place that I feel at home. I not only studied here and, as I mentioned, met my husband, but I still see it as a good reflection of Israel. You have everything here, all the problems, all the people, all the diversity of issues, and obviously excellence, research, and a lot about the future, youngsters. So I think it happened that you approached me 8 years ago. By the way, LinkedIn reminded me that it's 8 years since I became the chair of the campaign just last week. But seriously, I felt that this is a place I can make a difference, and that whatever we do here influence many, many people. We have 30,000 students. And of course, if you touch a student or a person, you touch his siblings, you touch his family, you touch his children that have not been born yet. So it's a great place to make an impact. And I think a real philanthropist is looking for impact. Talking about the board of governors, governors are mostly major donors. And these are serious people that everyone is after them. Every organization, wherever they are around the world, we must, of course, emphasize that these are international board of people that some of them have years of connection with the university and even multi-generational relations. And but it's my role, as I see it, to make it more than just a group of donors. I would like them to be partners, to feel part of who we are and what we represent. And I want them to be proud of it. And of course, it's a challenge because, as I said, everyone wants a piece of them. And they don't have to be, donors only to Tel Aviv University. On the contrary, many times we enjoy if they are related to other universities, for instance. So we can enjoy their relations and connect them to others. And we learn from them. But it's my role and our team role to bring them to the campus. We always say, come to the campus. The rest will be done by itself, because they get the vibe, they see the youngsters, the students, the challenges and the all the enormous possibilities which exist here. And so we have, at the Board of Governors, we have some formal duties by the constitution of the university. This is the highest body of the university, something like a general assembly of a company, one would say. And we have committees that are dealing with issues, asking the right questions, receive the reports from the management of the university, from the leadership of the university. And once a year, we meet in May, and we celebrate the achievements, we discuss the challenges, and we are trying to see how the donors and the governors can assist the university, how they can open doors for us, how they can connect us to new donors, potential donors, and so on. And it's an ongoing process that we are trying to do year-round, and especially every May on campus.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we're doing some good progress in that front, and there is still where to go, but I think we're going to the right direction. We are now in a very challenging time. Unfortunately, we have 120 hostages still in Gaza. We're all praying, and from here we're sending our request for them for the immediate release. And we hopefully that when people see this podcast already, they'll be home, and here that will be old news. But that's our prayers. And just yesterday, President Biden decided that he's stepping down. So the world is dynamic. Anti-Semitism, we have a war going on. I'm coming to you not as a geopolitical expert, but as a maybe philanthropist, Jewish expert, or seeing the world because you are connected and you're all over. So how do you see the relationship of Israeli diaspora and Israeli Jews and Israeli citizens, and from all how do we connect it right now? What's the next step, or what should we do? Or if Tau has a role in it, or just
Wow, so that's of course a broad question. I'll try to relate to a few points. First of all, as I said, we are an international board, and the university, of course, is very much connected to international collaborations with many universities and institutions worldwide. When it comes to the Jewish world, this is it's something that influenced philanthropy in Israel since the inception of Israel, because obviously the Jews in Israel before the inauguration of Israel were not wealthy, to say the least, and we started as a socialist country, so we didn't have many rich people, and the Jews around the world helped Israel. And in the last 75 years, Israel became stronger, more richer, and very sophisticated, technology and otherwise. And in some way, some people said that the balance between the Jewry and the Jews in the diaspora has changed in a way that Israel became stronger. And they became, in a way, dependent on Israel, but also gained strength from the mere fact that Israel exists. Because if worse comes to worse, they can come to Israel. And also because Israel is strong, and because, the IDF and other brands, very strong brands related to Israel, were strong. But what happened in October 7th shook our world and the world of the Jews worldwide. And it really made everyone think, where are we going? Of course, it's still early. No one knows where we are and what we should do. But I have no doubt we should fight. We should fight anti-Semitism. We should fight for the good relationship between Israelis and Jews worldwide. I think that Jews demonstrated their support in the months that after October 7th, and obviously Israelis also showed their strength, how they fought and still fighting for the future of Israel. But when it comes to philanthropy, when it comes to raising money for Israelis, for Israeli institutions, for instance, what happens in the universities abroad, many Jews say they don't want to support organizations that if they do not support anti-Semitism, they do not block anti-Semitism. What does it mean? We are still in the eye of the storm, and it's early to say. But I'm an optimistic. A philanthropist is an optimistic person. I think otherwise you do not invest now in things that might take years and years to fruit.
Amazing. No, perfect answer. And maybe just the last topic that I want to, I was recently, I think last week, was in your daughter's premiere of the movie Kisufim. Really, kol hakavod, amazing movie. So why am I related? Why am I saying all your daughters are artists? And we talked about a little bit of it. How come 3 daughters, amazing daughters, become artists? But that's a different topic. But my point to you is, how do you relate? What would be your message for the next generation? Your daughters, how would they connect to philanthropy, or the next generation at large? What will be your message or to them, to the audience that hears, the next generation that hears you?
So, one of the principles of parenthood is that your children follow what you do, not so much what you say. I mean, maybe more. And I'm very proud. I have one grandson. I start with him that one day he came back from school and he told me, Savta, you are a philanthropist, right? Because I said I have a philanthropist grandma. I could not believe it. They talked about society in general, and he was proud to show off with his grandma, to my content, of course. But I know that my daughters, who are already, of course, adults, know exactly what we are doing. I'm telling them if they want to listen, if they don't want to listen, about what I do. And I share with them all my experiences. And also when I'm disappointed and when things don't work my way, because sometimes as a good Israeli, I don't have the patience to wait until things will evolve. But also I respect their careers. I respect the fact that they want to succeed in what they are doing. And I'm a very proud mom. And I think it's a matter of time in life. I started doing philanthropy about when I was in my early 40s. And I think that was even early relatively. I truly hope it became already one part of the legacy of our family, of the Meitar family. We have several centers and institutions that carry my father's name. But it's not all about him. Of course, he started it and he gave the roots for it and support the wealth that we rely upon. But it's also my wishes, it's also my goals, it's also me that can push to areas and to advance things that he didn't see close to his heart. So I think that every generation needs to interpret it a little bit different, and it's part of his right and obligation, as long as they understand that money comes with responsibility.
They need to give, they need to make a difference, to impact.
Exactly.
Totally agree. I think definitely our time is almost up. So just what's left is to say thank you very much. It's an honor to have you with us, and it's an honor to work with you. And every day you're really an inspiration, and we're going to go forward with Tau and leading the university into prosperous times. So toda rabba.
Toda rabba to you, and thank you for recruiting me to this wonderful place.
I don't regret. No regrets here. Maybe now we can put Frank Sinatra, no regrets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Toda rabba, Dafna. Thank you.